The fishermen just wanted to catch some fish in the sea, but accidentally hauled up a strange creature. A terrifying roar burst out from the fishing net, and the fishermen immediately sensed something was wrong. If it were just a normal big fish, there'd be no way it could break free from the net. At that moment, humans still didn't realize the severity of the situation, thinking they had simply caught some kind of unusual species. But what they didn't expect was that a war between land and ocean had already begun. A few days later, the British military bought the creature's corpse from the fishermen. In ancient texts and mythological records, this type of creature was known as the sea demon. But now, in the 21st century, from a scientific perspective, the general preferred calling them water people. On the creature's neck, biologists found a pearl, suspecting it acted like an ID containing biological information. But with current human technology, they could only detect a bunch of calcium carbonate. Under the general's orders, the soldiers returned the pearl to where it belonged. Now that they knew another civilization existed beneath the sea, it was best not to make any aggressive moves for safety's sake. Before leaving, Barclay glanced at the water person hanging in midair and quietly said a prayer out of pity. The general decided that Britain should establish friendship with the oceanic civilization. The R&D department had already created a translation system based on the water people's vocal organs. It was still in testing, but it could express simple sentences.
What was that, sir?
A translation pulse. We said hello.
There was no movement from the ocean, but the general believed their message had been received. All that was left was to wait for the ocean's reply. Late that night, when all soldiers had turned off their lights and gone to sleep, something strange occurred in the warehouse storing the water person's corpse. The two guards assumed nothing would happen, and surveillance outside the camp would trigger an alarm if anyone intruded. But what they didn't expect was that the enemy would attack from underground. Morgan was just getting a cup of tea when the ground beneath him turned wet. Clara reached for the walkie-talkie on the table, but was suddenly dragged into the earth. Morgan rushed to save her, but couldn't move at all.
Jesus!
Realizing something was terribly wrong, he grabbed his walkie-talkie and called for backup. The invading water people didn't stop him. Their goal for this mission had already been achieved. Since humans had killed one of their own, taking 2 human lives in return was considered fair. As the alarm blared, soldiers quickly rushed to the warehouse. But to their shock, aside from the missing corpse and soldiers, the room remained perfectly still, no signs of struggle at all. Barclay noticed a strange bump in the corner of the room. Curious, he pulled it and a whole chair slid right out. The general realized something was very wrong. He grabbed his walkie-talkie and called out the soldiers' names. Static crackled through the speaker, and the sound was coming from directly below them. The general got down on the ground and called again, finally confirming his worst fear.
What's that?